Tamel was not a hero. He didn't wear a uniform. He didn't fly fighter ships or speak in speeches. He was just a mechanic. Grease on his hands, tools in his belt, and a quiet workshop on a lonely space station called Outpost 9. The outpost floated above a cold moon in Sector Thetan 9, far from the busy trade routes. Not many ships passed by. Sometimes a cargo freighter stopped for repairs. Sometimes nothing happened for weeks. That's how Tamel liked it: quiet, simple, peaceful. One normal day, while Tamel was fixing a broken repair drone, the station's sensors beeped. It was an emergency signal. Not a normal distress call. This one was strange. Old code. Alien code. Tamel wiped his hands and walked to the main screen. His brow furrowed. Something big was falling through the sky above the moon. It wasn't crashing into his outpost, but it was too close to ignore. He turned on the long-range scanner. What he saw made him freeze. The object wasn't just a ship, it was shaped like a creature. Long wings, a tail, and a body that shimmered with both metal and something else, something alive. It looked like a dragon made from starship parts. Tamel had read stories as a boy. Old myths about a species called the Dreyaka, living machines shaped like dragons. But they were only in tales told on space stations to make kids dream or worry. Until now. The ship creature hit the moon's surface with a loud, rumbling sound. Dust and energy rose in a cloud. Tamel hesitated. He wasn't a soldier or a doctor. But someone, or something, might be hurt down there. He couldn't ignore it. He grabbed his bag, climbed into his small repair pod, and flew toward the crash site. The crash site was a deep crater. Metal scraps and glowing fragments littered the area. In the center, he saw her. She was larger than any living thing Tamel had ever seen. Her scales looked like black stone mixed with silver wires. Parts of her body were glowing, as if energy flowed through her veins instead of blood. She opened her eyes as Tamel stepped closer. Her voice echoed not through the air, but directly into his mind. "Are you the human?" she asked. Tamel swallowed hard. I am." She looked at him with deep, glowing eyes. Her body was damaged, one wing bent, and sparks flickered from her side. But she wasn't afraid. She wasn't asking for help for herself. Behind her, hidden by her massive tail, was something small. At first, Tamel thought it was a pile of broken parts. Then it moved. A young one. The hatchling was about the size of a large dog, covered in sharp silver-blue plates. Its eyes were wild. It let out a low growl when Tamel stepped closer. "He is not ready," the dragon mother said. "He is too wild. He was born early, during war." Tamel blinked. "War? Yes. Many hunt our kind. I cannot stay. If they find me here, they will destroy this moon, and you with it." Tamel's heart raced. "What do you want from me?" She lowered her head, close to his. "Keep him safe," she said softly. "Teach him, if you can. You are not like the others. You fix. You build. That is why I came." Tamel looked at the hatchling. Its tiny wings twitched. Its breath glowed with faint blue light. It looked scared. And dangerous. He looked back at the mother. "I'm just a mechanic. That is enough." Then, with great effort, she lifted into the air. Sparks flew from her back. Her body shimmered, wings folding like a ship preparing for warp. She looked down one last time. "His name is Pyre. But call him what suits you." And then she was gone. Just like that, Tamel stood alone on a dusty moon, staring at a feral, alien hatchling that blinked at him with glowing eyes. He sighed. "Well, I guess I better build you a bed." The hatchling hissed and curled up near a broken engine coil, sparks dancing across its back. Tamel turned to walk back to his repair pod, already thinking of what tools he'd need. Back at Outpost 9, Tamel's small workshop buzzed with unfamiliar sounds. The hatchling whom he now called Pip was not like any creature Tamel had ever seen. She was alive, but also part machine. Her silver-blue scales shimmered under the soft lights, and faint sparks danced over her tiny claws. Tamel watched her carefully. Pip was restless. She didn't like being inside. She paced in her new habitat, a cage made from reinforced alloy and lined with soft, magnetic cushions Tamel had built himself. The hatchling hissed softly, claws tapping on the metal floor, sparks flickering with every move. "Easy, Pip," Tamel said gently. "You're safe here." Pip didn't answer, of course. She was too wild, too young. Her eyes flickered with both curiosity and fear. Tamel didn't know much about raising creatures, especially ones who could melt steel with their claws. But he was a mechanic. And mechanics always find a way. The first challenge was feeding her. Pip didn't eat regular food. Tamel tried feeding her standard nutrient gels, but she refused. Instead, she bit into the tools Tamel had left nearby, melting a wrench with a blue flash. Tamel hurried to his workbench, scratching his head. "Okay, no food, but energy. Maybe you need power." He found a small battery pack and connected it to a thin metal plate inside the cage. Pip sniffed it curiously, then touched the plate with her claw. A pulse of soft electricity flowed through her, and she relaxed, curling beside the plate. Tamel smiled. "So you eat energy, not food. Got it?" He spent the next hours building a custom feeding system that could deliver small charges of power to Pip safely. It was like charging a tiny electric dragon. Days passed. Pip stayed restless, sometimes snarling and flaring her small plasma claws when she felt scared or confused. She did not trust Tamel at first. Every new noise or movement made her jump. But Tamel was patient. He cleaned her habitat, fixed broken parts of the outpost when needed, and spent hours sitting quietly nearby while Pip watched him carefully. Slowly, the hatchling's wild behavior softened. Sometimes, when Tamel worked on machines, Pip would come closer, touching a metal tool with her glowing claws, making tiny sparks dance. Tamel laughed softly. "You like the machines, huh?" One afternoon, Pip did something new. She tapped a broken repair drone with her claw. The drone lit up. The broken parts began to move slowly, repairing themselves like magic. Tamel's eyes widened. "You can fix things too." Pip blinked, her small mouth opening in what looked like a smile. Not all was peaceful, though. Outpost 9 was small, but it wasn't hidden. News of the strange dragon hatchling spread quickly through nearby space stations. One day, while Tamel was checking a power converter, the station's alarm blared. A small ship landed nearby, marked with a red emblem. Two figures stepped out. They wore sleek armor and carried strange tools. "We are from the Zelger Guild," one said in a calm voice. "We have heard about the dragon hatchling. We want to see it." Tamel frowned. "This is private property. You can't just come here." The other figure smiled coldly. "We only want to help." Tamel did not trust them. He looked at Pip, who hissed and flared her claws, sparks flying. "No," Tamel said firmly. "Pip stays with me." The Zelger paused, then nodded. "Very well, for now." That night, Tamel sat near Pip's cage, deep in thought. Why would the dragon mother trust me, he wondered aloud. "I'm just a mechanic." Pip, as if understanding, moved closer, her body glowing faintly. Tamel touched her claw gently. "I don't know much about your kind. But I will do my best." He decided to learn more. Tamel scanned the parts of Pip's scales that looked different. Beneath the glowing plates, he found tiny marks like writing, but made of light. With careful work, he connected his data scanner and began decoding the patterns. Days passed, and slowly, a story emerged. The marks were nanoglyphs, tiny pieces of information stored inside Pip's scales. They were not just decoration. They were data, memories, and maps. Tamel discovered that Pip carried a secret, something important to the Dreyaka. The story spoke of the Heart Forge, a mysterious place far away, a living star that could create energy beyond imagination. The Dragon Mother had sent Pip to Tamel because she believed humans, like him, could protect that secret without greed or fear. Tamel looked at Pip, who was resting now, calm and quiet. He realized something important. This little hatchling was more than wild energy and claws. She was a key to peace. A symbol of trust between her people and his. He made a promise quietly to himself and to Pip. I will keep you safe. I will help you grow. Outpost 9 was no longer just a quiet station on a lonely moon. It was the first home of a new friendship between a human mechanic and a dragon hatchling who could change the galaxy. Tamel had hoped the quiet days would continue. He was learning more about Pip and the strange technology inside her scales. The bond between them was growing, little by little. But peace did not last long. One morning, as Tamel was working on a small power converter near the landing pad, the station's alarm suddenly rang out loud and urgent. Tamel dropped his tools and looked out the window. Two sleek ships approached fast, cutting through the blackness of space like hunting birds. They docked with Outpost 9 without waiting for permission. Tamel's heart beat faster. He didn't recognize the ships, but the red emblem on their hulls sent a chill down his spine. The Zelgar Guild. Stories about the Zelgar were common, but none were good. They were bounty hunters and smugglers, known for taking anything valuable, sometimes without asking. Tamel didn't want trouble. Not with Pip so young and fragile. He hurried to the airlock as two figures stepped out. Their armor was dark, smooth, and cold-looking. They moved with the confidence of those used to getting what they wanted. Tamel, one asked, voice calm but firm. Yes, Tamel replied, trying to hide his nervousness. We come with a message, the taller one said. The Dragon Mother's hatchling belongs to the galaxy. We have orders to take it for study. Tamel's eyes narrowed. Study? She's a living creature, not a machine to be taken apart. The other smiled thinly. It's not personal. It's business. The Dreyaka are dangerous. The galaxy needs to understand them better. Tamel shook his head. Pip is under my care. I won't let you take her. The Zelgar exchanged looks. Then the taller one spoke again. We don't want a fight, Tamel. Hand over the hatchling peacefully, and no one gets hurt. Tamel clenched his fists. He had no weapons, only his tools and his wits. Pip is not yours, he said firmly. If you want her, you'll have to come through me. Back in the habitat, Pip was restless. She sensed the strangers. Her body lit up with soft sparks, and she growled quietly a warning. Tamel knelt beside her cage. Stay calm, Pip. I'll protect you. The Zelgar moved closer, opening the habitat doors with electronic keys. But Pip was faster. With a sudden flash of blue light, she extended her tiny claws, sending a harmless but bright electric spark across the floor. The Zelgar stepped back, surprised. She's dangerous, one said. Exactly, Tamel replied. And I'm not going to let you take her. For hours, Tamel and the Zelgar stood on opposite sides of the station's small landing bay. The Zelgar tried to negotiate. They promised safety, wealth, and power. But Tamel only saw greed. He looked at Pip and made a choice. He needed to protect her, no matter the cost. Late that night, Tamel worked in his workshop, preparing. He rewired drones and machines around the station to act as sentries. Each one was programmed to slow down anyone who tried to get close. He even modified the coffee maker to shoot a blinding light when triggered a silly trap, but it worked. Pip watched quietly, her glowing eyes following every move. Tamel smiled. "We're ready, little one. Whatever comes, we face it together." Pip's tail flicked softly, almost like a nod. The next morning, the Zelger returned with more ships. Tamel's trap slowed them down. Drones buzzed and blocked corridors. Blinding lights flashed. The Zelger frowned but didn't give up. Pip was by Tamel's side now. She had grown more confident. Her body pulsed with energy, but she stayed calm. Tamel realized something. Pip wasn't just a wild hatchling anymore. She was learning control because someone believed in her. During a brief pause in the standoff, one Zelger commander approached Tamel alone. "Why do you care so much about this creature?" he asked. Tamel looked at Pip, then back at the man. "Because she's more than a weapon or prize. She's alive. She's family." The commander frowned but nodded slightly. "Maybe humans are different," he said quietly. Tamel nodded. "We are." When the Zelger finally left, Tamel felt relief, but also worry. They would be back. Others would come for Pip. But now, Tamel knew he was not alone. Pip was growing strong. And together, they could face whatever the galaxy sent their way. As the sun set behind the cold moon, Tamel sat next to Pip's cage. "Tomorrow," he whispered, "we start learning. I want to understand you better, Pip. And I want to keep you safe. No matter what." Pip blinked slowly, her body glowing softly in the dim light. Together, mechanic and hatchling, they waited for the future, a future full of challenges and hope. Days passed quietly at Outpost 9, but Tamel's mind was busy. He wanted to understand more about Pip, the strange hatchling with metal scales and glowing eyes. There was something special about her. More than just a living creature, she carried secrets. Tamel had been studying the tiny marks inside Pip's scales, the nanoglyphs. They were like a language made of light, patterns that shifted and pulsed gently when he scanned them. Every day, after finishing his repairs around the station, Tamel sat beside Pip's habitat, connecting his portable scanner to the small sections of her armor like plates. Slowly, piece by piece, he began to decode the patterns. At first, the messages were simple: data about Pip's health, instructions for feeding, energy levels. But then the code grew more complex. There were symbols that matched ancient Dreyaka myths Tamel had read about in dusty old books. Stories of a place called the Heart Forge, a star that was alive, glowing with energy beyond anything humans had ever seen. The Heart Forge was said to be the birthplace of the Dreyaka species. It was a source of power and creation. Tamel realized something important: Pip was carrying a map, a hidden guide inside her body to the Heart Forge. Tamel's fingers trembled as he looked at the data. He didn't know what the Heart Forge really was, but it could change everything. He wondered why the Dragon Mother had sent Pip to him. Maybe it was because humans were different. Maybe it was because he cared. Pip, meanwhile, was changing too. She was calmer. Her bright eyes followed Tamel as he worked. Sometimes, when he hummed softly while fixing machines, she would make small sparks dance around her claws as if she was trying to play. One afternoon, Tamel brought an old puzzle box to Pip's habitat. He hoped to see if she understood it. Pip touched the box with her claws, sending a tiny pulse of energy. The box clicked open. Tamel smiled widely. "You're smarter than I thought." That evening, Tamel sat outside the habitat, looking at the stars. The Dreyaka, the Heart Forge, the map inside Pip, it was all too much to take in. Suddenly, his communicator beeped. It was a message from a nearby space station. The message was simple but urgent: Zelger activity increasing. Hunt intensifies. Protect the hatchling. Tamel felt a chill. The Zelger weren't going to stop. Tamel turned to Pip. She looked at him, glowing softly. "We have to be ready," he said. Over the next few days, Tamel worked harder than ever. He upgraded his defenses, improved the drones, and built new sensors to detect incoming ships early. But more than that, he focused on Pip. He wanted her to control her powers better. He designed a training area inside the station, a place where Pip could practice moving without causing sparks, where she could learn to calm the energy inside her. At first, Pip was wild and unpredictable. She jumped and flared with bright lights. But slowly, under Tamel's quiet encouragement, she learned to steady herself. One day, while Pip practiced balancing on a metal beam, Tamel noticed something else. Pip's nanoglyphs began to glow brighter. The patterns shifted faster. Tamel scanned again. The map inside her was changing. It was as if Pip's body was connecting with something far away, something calling to her. Tamel shared this with his small team of helpers at the outpost. "We have to protect her more than ever," Tamel said. "The Heart Forge might be near, and others want it too." One helper asked, "What if the Heart Forge is dangerous?" Tamel shook his head. "If it is, then Pip is the key to keeping it safe." As the days passed, Tamel felt a new sense of hope. He wasn't just a mechanic fixing broken machines anymore. He was a guardian of a future no one had imagined. One night, as Tamel sat beside Pip's habitat, the hatchling reached out a glowing claw and touched his hand. In that moment, Tamel understood. Trust wasn't just given. It was built. And together, they could face anything. Outside, the stars shone brightly over Outpost 9. The galaxy was watching. And the adventure was just beginning. Tamel woke early, his mind restless with thoughts about the Heart Forge and the glowing map inside Pip's scales. The mysteries were many, and the dangers were real. But today, something was different. As he entered the workshop, his small scanner beeped sharply. A new reading appeared on the screen, strong and steady. The map inside Pip was reacting. Tamel's eyes widened as he checked the data again. There was a signal, a faint pulse coming from deep space. The Heart Forge was calling. Tamel took a deep breath and looked over at Pip. She was resting peacefully now, her body glowing softly like a star's light. "Looks like it's time," Tamel whispered. "We have to find the Heart Forge." For the first time since the hatchling's arrival, Tamel felt the weight of the journey ahead. He was a simple mechanic from a small outpost, not a space explorer or a hero. But now, that didn't matter. He had a friend. And a purpose. Tamel spent the next hours preparing the outpost's small ship for travel. The Starwing was old but reliable, a compact vessel built for repairs and short trips. He packed tools, supplies, and extra energy cells for Pip. Pip watched him with bright eyes, her claws tapping on the floor. "Ready?" Tamel asked. The hatchling responded with a soft glow and a gentle nod. The launch was smooth. Outpost 9 became smaller and smaller behind them as the Starwing slipped into space. Tamel studied the map carefully. The pulse from the Heart Forge was growing stronger, guiding their path through uncharted sectors. But space was vast and full of unknowns. As they traveled, Tamel and Pip settled into a routine. Tamel worked on repairs, while Pip rested in a special chamber he had made. Sometimes, Pip's glowing claws would trace patterns on the glass walls, matching the nanoglyphs inside her scales. Tamel thought she was trying to communicate. One evening, as the ship glided past a glowing nebula, Tamel noticed the energy in the cabin shift. Pip's body brightened, and the maps inside her shimmered more than before. Suddenly, the ship's sensors picked up a small object moving nearby. Tamel went to the window and saw a tiny drone shaped like a star, with shining wings. The drone sent a quiet signal. Tamel hesitated, then opened the airlock. The drone floated inside. On its surface was a symbol, a Dreyaka crest. Tamel turned to Pip. "This is from your people," he said. The drone hummed softly, and a small light projected into the air. A message appeared, a hologram of the Dragon Mother. Her voice was calm and kind. "Tamel, guardian of my hatchling, thank you for keeping her safe. The Heart Forge is not just a place, it is a test. Only those with trust and courage may enter. Pip holds the key. Protect her, learn from her. Together, you will face what is to come." Tamel felt a shiver of hope and responsibility. "We will," he said softly. The drone left as quickly as it came, disappearing into the stars. Tamel looked at Pip, whose eyes were brighter than ever. She was ready. The journey grew harder. The closer they came to the Heart Forge, the more the ship's system struggled with strange energy fields. Pip sensed it too, her claws glowing with steady light. Tamel worked to keep the ship steady. "We're almost there," he said, determination in his voice. Finally, after days of travel, they approached a bright star unlike any Tamel had seen. It was alive. The star pulsed with energy, colors shifting in waves: gold, blue, and silver. The Heart Forge. Tamel activated the ship's scanners. The star was not just a star, it was a giant machine, a living forge creating energy and matter. Tamel gasped. This was beyond anything he could have imagined. Pip stirred beside him. Her body glowed in response to the star's energy. She reached out a claw, and the nanoglyphs on her scales shined brightly. Tamel realized this was the moment. The hatchling was connected to the Heart Forge. She was more than a creature, she was part of this ancient power. Tamel whispered, "What happens now, Pip?" Pip blinked slowly, as if understanding. The star's light enveloped the ship gently. Tamel felt warmth and calm. The Heart Forge was welcoming them. The star wing hovered near the glowing Heart Forge, a living star that pulsed with endless energy. Tamel felt a mixture of awe and nervousness as he looked out the window. The light from the star danced in waves, casting strange colors across the ship's interior. Pip's scales shimmered in response to the star's glow. Her eyes reflected the bright colors, and her small body seemed to hum with energy. Tamel realized she was connected to this place in a way he could not yet understand. The ship's systems had stabilized, but Tamel kept his hands ready at the controls. This was no ordinary star or place, it was alive, and it held secrets older than anything he had seen before. Suddenly, a soft vibration filled the cabin. The Star Wing's scanners picked up a pulse, a message coming from the Heart Forge itself. Tamel hurried to the console. The pulse was a sequence of lights and sounds, like a code waiting to be read. He connected the scanner to Pip's habitat. The hatchling's body lit up, and the nanoglyphs on her scales began to glow brighter than ever. Pip let out a soft, musical sound, and the patterns on her skin shifted faster. Tamel realized this was more than just a message. It was an invitation. He spoke quietly to Pip. "They want you to open the way." Pip blinked and touched the wall of her habitat with a glowing claw. The cage responded, its panels shifted, revealing a small opening. Tamel smiled. "Looks like you're ready." Tamel and Pip stepped into a small shuttle inside the Star Wing. The shuttle's doors closed behind them, and they prepared to enter the Heart Forge itself. As they moved closer to the star, the colors grew brighter, swirling like ribbons of light. Inside the Heart Forge, Tamel could feel a gentle warmth spreading through him, a feeling of peace and strength. Pip's glowing claws traced patterns in the air. The nanoglyphs on her scales matched the star's energy perfectly. Suddenly, the walls around them shimmered and shifted. The star was alive, and it was showing them its secrets. Tamel saw visions, images of creation, of energy flowing through space, of stars being born. He understood now, the Heart Forge was the source of life for the Dreyaka and many other beings. It created the power that made the galaxy alive. Pip's body glowed brighter as she connected with the star's energy. The nanoglyphs inside her pulsed in harmony with the Heart Forge. Tamel watched in wonder as Pip began to change. Her scales grew stronger, shimmering with new colors. Her claws glowed softly, but now, instead of wild sparks, they released gentle streams of light. She was becoming something more, a guardian, a living bridge between the ancient power of the Heartforge and the world outside. Tamel felt proud. The Dragon Mother had trusted him with Pip for a reason. Together, they had reached the source of her strength. But the Heartforge was not just a place of light. Tamel sensed something else, a quiet warning hidden deep within the star's code. The energy was powerful, but it was also delicate. The Heartforge needed protectors, beings who understood trust, courage, and balance. Tamel looked at Pip. "We have a job," he said softly. "To guard this place. To keep it safe." Pip blinked, her glowing eyes steady and strong. Suddenly, a soft sound echoed through the chamber. Tamel turned to see a figure approaching, a tall, graceful Drayika, her scales shining like silver and gold. The Dragon Mother. She smiled warmly. "Tamel," she said, her voice like a gentle breeze. "You have done well. You have proven your heart is true." Tamel bowed his head, feeling honored. "You trusted me with Pip," he said. "And I will protect her and the Heartforge with everything I have." The Dragon Mother nodded. "The galaxy needs more like you. Together, you and Pip will keep the balance." Tamel looked at Pip, who stretched her glowing wings and gave a small, happy chirp. The hatchling was no longer wild or feral. She was a symbol of hope. As the Heartforge's light surrounded them, Tamel understood that this was only the beginning. There were many challenges ahead, but also many wonders. He was no longer just a mechanic. He was a guardian of something greater. The Starwing returned to Outpost 9, carrying Tamel and Pip back home. But now, their lives had changed forever. They had touched the heart of the galaxy and the galaxy had touched them. And the adventure was far from over. The Starwing's engines hummed softly as Tamel guided the ship back to Outpost 9. Outside, stars twinkled quietly, as if welcoming him and Pip home. The journey had changed everything. Tamel felt stronger, more confident. Pip was no longer the wild hatchling he had first met. She was calm, wise beyond her years, glowing softly with the power of the Heartforge. As the outpost's lights came into view, Tamel smiled. They had returned not just as protector and hatchling, but as partners on a new path. Back on the station, the crew gathered around. They had heard about the journey and the Heartforge. Their eyes were full of curiosity and respect. Tamel stepped forward, Pip by his side. "The Heartforge is real," Tamel said. "It is a source of life and power. But it is fragile. It needs protectors, guardians who understand trust and balance." One crew member asked, "What will happen now?" Tamel looked at Pip, who spread her shimmering wings with a small spark of light. "We will protect it," Tamel said firmly. "And we will learn from it. Together, we can keep the galaxy safe." Days turned into weeks. Tamel and Pip worked side by side, helping the outpost grow stronger. Pip's powers continued to develop. She learned to control her energy, using it to heal damaged machines or light up dark spaces. The crew grew to love her as much as Tamel did. But Tamel knew their work was far from over. News came from other parts of the galaxy, stories of strange energy readings, unexplained events, and other creatures connected to the Heartforge. Tamel realized that Outpost 9 was now a center for something much bigger. One evening, as the station's lights dimmed and stars shone outside, Tamel sat with Pip near the observation window. "Pip," he said softly, "we've come so far. But I think this is only the beginning." Pip blinked slowly, her glowing eyes meeting his. Tamel smiled. "The galaxy is full of mysteries, and maybe more like you out there." Suddenly, the station's alarm beeped, a soft signal, not urgent, but clear. Tamel stood quickly, scanning the message. A small ship was approaching. It carried no weapons, only a message. Tamel opened the communication channel. A calm voice greeted him. Tamel, guardian of the hatchling. I am Mara, a traveler from the distant star systems. I have heard of your journey and wish to meet. Tamel nodded. Welcome to Outpost 9, Mara. You are safe here. When the ship docked, a figure stepped out, a woman with shining eyes and calm presence. She carried a small device that pulsed with energy, similar to the heart forge. Mara smiled at Pip and Tamel. You have done well, she said. The heart forge calls many, but few listen. Together, we can protect the balance of the galaxy. Tamel felt hope blossom. He realized that the galaxy was not just a place of danger, but a place of friendship and trust. In the weeks that followed, Mara taught Tamel and Pip new things about the stars, the energy that flowed between them, and the importance of keeping peace. Tamel listened carefully. He was still a mechanic, but now he was also a student of the universe. Pip grew stronger, her wings spreading wide as she learned to fly inside the station's large hangar. One day, Tamel stood on the observation deck, looking out at the stars. He thought about the Dragon Mother, the Heart Forge, and the journey that had brought him here. He smiled, feeling proud but humble. A soft glow appeared beside him. Pip landed gracefully, her glowing eyes bright. Tamel reached out, and she touched his hand with a warm pulse. Together, they looked at the stars, knowing their adventure was far from over. The galaxy was wide and full of wonders. And with trust, courage, and friendship, Tamel and Pip were ready to face whatever came next.